Ladies and gentlemen of Colorado, ladies and gentlemen of Denver, South Warwick chanting will not make us energy independent in America. Under the leadership of Speaker Pelosi, we passed the most comprehensive conservation and renewable energy source bill in the history of the Congress last year when we took over the leadership of the Congress of the United States. Thank you, Speaker Pelosi. I am so pleased to be here in the state of Diana to get our hostess with the mostest. Thank you, Diana. And Perlmutter, thank you. And I'm so pleased to be in the state with John Salazar, who does such an extraordinary job, and in the state of the next United States Senator, Mark Udall. All in America know that in the 21st century, energy leadership will no longer be a matter of geological luck. It will be a test of our country's innovation and smart investment. Part of the answer to the energy crisis is increasing domestic production. We believe that, particularly on the 68 million acres presently available for drilling now. But ultimately, all thinking Americans know nearly a quarter of the world's oil is sitting other places. We're asking for 25% of the supply with only less than 3% of the supply here. The only lasting solution lies in developing clean technologies like hydrogen-powered vehicles, natural gas-powered fuel cells, plug-in hybrids, as well as improving the efficiency of alternative power like wind and solar. All Americans know that to be the case. Ladies and gentlemen of Colorado and Denver and of America, the Apollo Alliance estimates that a major investment in clean technology has the potential. You know, some people don't listen, as you've noticed. Some people are so convinced of the rightness of their position, they don't think they need to listen to others. That's been the history of this administration for the last 8 years, why it has been such an administration. It is a hear no evil, see no evil, but speak a lot of evil administration that is reflected here. Clean energy, we all know that clean energy can turn us from an energy dependent to an energy technology exporter. But government support could help bring clean technologies to market. That's what Americans want. An excellent example of this has been set by the Defense Research Agency, DARPA. It has sparked the development of global positioning systems, the computer mouse, the Saturn rocket engine, and computer-aided design, not to mention the internet. If we can do that, we can be energy independent from the rest of the world's oil supply that holds us hostage. Today, government-sponsored researchers are doing the same for energy. Over the last 10 years, we've spent an average of a little less than $1 billion. This administration doesn't think it's very important, apparently, to look for alternatives. We do. Democrats want to eliminate subsidies for oil companies and direct the savings towards clean energy. Democrats want to extend tax credits for clean energy, which could create tens of thousands of jobs in the worst job-producing administration in the history since 1930s. Republicans given a choice to pay for it without taking on more debt. You heard there's some few of us among us who categorize themselves as those. They want to take on more debt. They decide to prioritize offshore tax havens over tax investment in energy independence. It's clear, ladies and gentlemen, which party has a plan for clean energy and green jobs. And it's the party to be led by Barack Obama, the next president of the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, I am now very proud to introduce to you from the state of West Virginia, Nick Joe Rahall, the chairman of the Natural Resources Committee, America's Natural Resources, Nick Joe Rahall.
you, Mr. Leader, Madam Speaker, my colleagues, Diana DeJet, Ed, thank you so much for your hospitality in the state of Colorado. I want to reiterate what the Speaker has said. First, let me properly introduce myself. I am, as Steny did, the Chairman of the House Natural Resources Committee. My home state is West Virginia. No stranger to contributing to the energy independence of our country and supplying our country with safe and reliable sources of energy. So let me say, and to reiterate once again what our distinguished Speaker has said, and what our soon presidential nominee Barack Obama is saying, and that is that we are willing to expand drilling in the outer continental shelf. But to do so, get to work. That's strange, Madam Speaker. Remember those 18-some calls to adjourn the Republicans called for during the last 3 months of the... Yeah, who are you working for today? I mean, yeah, 18 calls to adjourn the House. Think what that costs the taxpayers. Okay, anyway, we are for drilling. We as a Democratic Party are for expanding drilling in the outer continental shelf, but we are for doing it in a responsible way and as a manner that is part of a comprehensive energy package that will produce and promote alternative and renewable fuels. And we want to do it in a way that protects our environment. We want to do it in a way that ensures that the American people are compensated for the dispensation of their resources. As the Speaker has said, we are talking about public resources. All of our names, Republicans and Democrats alike, are the owners of these lands and these resources. Now, as I said, the oil and natural gas that belong to the American people that underlie these federal waters must be drilled in a responsible and environmentally sound manner. It is not there to be given away in a willy-nilly fashion. It must be managed properly with proper payment to the American people in return for the privilege of drilling. Time and time again, we have had hearings in our Committee on Natural Resources on the mismanagement of our natural resources, our federal and oil gas resources. We have found within the Department of Interior, under this administration, there has been a culture of cronyism, malfeasance, and benign neglect of the proper responsibilities to the American people. This attitude of cronyism and neglect of proper responsibilities as public servants has cost the American people billions of dollars in collection of royalties and payments that are due our American people. And it's something that the Interior Department's own Inspector General, this is not Democrats, this is the Department of Interior's own Inspector General, has found in investigation after investigation after investigation. So I would remind all of us that the people that are demanding more of OCS be opened up for drilling, the drill now, drill here crowd, those who would even open up the National Mall for drilling if they could, this cannot be done. It cannot be done in a willy-nilly fashion. It must be done responsibly. In my view, it can only be done with proper reforms in the way the Interior Department manages our public resources. For instance, the Speaker has referred in our caucus this morning to the Denver Post reporting of this past Sunday on the front page, where the Inspector General will soon report with new investigative reports showing the malfeasance and benign neglect that has occurred in the royalty in kind program administered by the Minerals Management Service of the Department of Interior. I've long been a critic of this program. As you know, this is where instead of receiving royalties in the form of cash payments, the Interior Department has received those royalties from the oil companies in the equivalent of oil instead of the cash payments that are due the American people. Yet some of the employees who have been running this program have been running afoul of federal ethics laws. There's been a cozy relationship with the big oil executives and oil companies that stretches and could very well be bordering on criminal investigations that will lie ahead. These charges must be pursued, these allegations rather, must be pursued. We still have a whole class of OCS leases, for example, issued in '98 and '99, where the agency failed to place any royalty requirements on them, and the American people are being shortchanged in the process. And that's why I believe that in September, when the House considers energy legislation, we must revisit reforms of this nature that we have passed in the past in the House in the form of H.R. 6, And in my opinion, we must totally eliminate the criticized royalty in kind program and instead require the oil companies to pay the American taxpayers the cash that is due the American taxpayers. Big oil has been pulling the wool over the American eyes for far too long. They've been getting away with the blessing of this administration with far too much. They've been hitting the American taxpayer, not once, not twice, but 3 times. They're hitting us at the pump. We all know that. They're hitting us at the Treasury Department through various shenanigans with our tax codes. And they're hitting us once again with royalty holidays put in past by previous Congresses that allow once again the American people to come up on the short end of the stick. This, as we all